knowing for a fact that all this stuff is really, really worthy of my time and energy and effort, and so is yours. And so without further ado, I have a number of things I wanted to talk to you guys about, but at the same time, I'm going to probably have to do this, most of it, one-on-one, simply because there is a number of individuals who are in this organization that has not committed or, the way I see it, have not obligated themselves to us. And so one of the reasons for that is that you don't have anything in writing. And so what's going to happen in this next few days, hopefully by tomorrow, all of you will have emailed to you a contract. And that contract is going to be cut and dry and simple. Nothing more than the fact that you're going to commit your time, energy, and efforts to this paper, and we're going to commit to making sure that everything we promised you, you get. That's simple. Now, when it comes down to the lesson for this afternoon, I wanted to talk about a number of things, but I kind of boiled it down to, first of all, fear. And that is a heck of a thing to be in when you're not confident about something, when you're not on your game about something, when you feel a little apprehensive about what you're about to encounter. Let me tell you, there's a lot of trepidation and a lot of problems with that when it comes down to most of us. Most of us dread the idea of dealing with something that we're not that comfortable with. And so what I'm finding is that in some of you who are dedicated individuals, it's kind of out of your field to write. Now you got a great business. You do a whole lot of stuff. You do a whole lot of things that will allow you to be able to accentuate your business. But at the same time, some of you are absolutely, positively afraid. And I'm going to say this right to you without blinking an eye. Afraid of success. Take that to the bank. Many of you are afraid of success. Success is a wonderful thing. When you graduated from the 8th grade to high school, success. When you got your first job, success. And the most important thing is that y'all have to excuse me. Y'all saw that little, what you call it, a streaker? This is good. I'm finding that that most of us really don't know what it's like to be truly successful. Not to worry about anything, to have your minds clear of all of the obstacles that's in front of you and to see a clear path. And in most businesses, that doesn't exist. There are some things that you just don't understand. There's some things that is, well, kind of not your greatest talent. And so the whole purpose of this conversation this afternoon is to talk about what fear is. And that is, of course, a lot of people know it is the false evidence appearing real. Now, fear by itself is nothing, but fear with action causes a whole lot of problem for a lot of people, especially inaction, because that's probably what most of us do. Because a confused mind, what does it do? Absolutely nothing. Take my word for it. It does not do anything. So, and the question is that what are more people afraid of when they're in business? So one of the biggest things is getting too big. A lot of people are really afraid of success. When I say afraid of success, I literally mean that. They wind up having a situation where they have all the talent, all of the things that goes along with what it takes to be successful, that their mindset is correct, but they cut it off some sort of way because of the fact that they won't go here, they won't go there, they won't do this, and they won't do that. And knowing that it will take them over that hump. And once you get over the hump, I guarantee you guys, once you become successful at anything, and it's a heck of a feeling, you want it all the time. And most of it comes with the intent. I keep talking about the intent because it is one of the most important things that you have. If you go into a situation or a concept or an idea with the wrong intent, guess what you get? A bad outcome. Guaranteed, it never fails. And the reason that I share that with you is because that's not only my experience, but it's been written all over the place. If you go in to take to rob, to cheat, to steal, to lie, to deceive. You know what you're going to get out of that. Someone is going to call you on it eventually. And even if they don't, inside of you, you know what you've done. And it plays with your body and your mind, and especially your body, because it starts deteriorating certain things inside of you that you don't even recognize. So this is one of the reasons why I'm talking about fear, because it is a detrimental thing. It's way at the bottom of in fact, it's just the opposite of love. What? Fear and love? Yeah, they are two opposites. It's not love and hate, it's love and fear. Hate is a derivative of fear. And so what I'm sharing with you is the fact that your fear ratio has a lot to do with your economic ratio. Most of us who are sitting up here with no fear, you're free. You take a 2-year-old child. I'll take a 6-month-old child. You know how much fear they have in their system? Absolutely zero. They'll walk up to a snake, they'll put their hand in fire, and they will jump in water without hesitation. Why? They're fearless. There is nothing to hinder them from doing that, even though it may harm them, kill them. The reality is that they don't fear it because they haven't been taught it. And that's what most of our problems are. We have been taught that if you do this, if you go there, if you're in this situation, that situation, or if you get too big, you got to have an entourage of people around you, all of that stuff. Don't worry about that. What I have found is that whatever you need in this life, and I mean absolutely positively need it, ladies and gentlemen, guess what happens? It shows up. And if it doesn't show up, guess what else that is? You know what that means? You didn't need it. You may have wanted it, desired it. Somebody else may have wanted it for you, but you didn't need it because you're still here. So where I'm going with this is that your business, one of the reasons why it is the way it is because of the way you think and your attitude towards it. How do you get out of that? You get different tools, you get different attitudes, and you get a different concept of who you are and how you want to deal with it. Now, most of your fears, what I understand, is not so much as that you don't know your craft. It's how to present your craft, your job, what you're doing, what you do in life, why you're in this business. It's important that you wind up letting people know that you have this business. You want to expand this business. You have a desire to make this business grow. But at the same time, without those tools and without that attitude, it stagnates. It stays right where it is. So what we're trying to do now is to get a lot of people in this organization with a different mindset. You see, the reality is there's nothing that you cannot do. That's the reality of it all. Nothing on this planet, nothing. If you can think of it, and what they say, if you can conceive it, believe it, you can achieve it. Just that simple. And I believe that there is nothing that's put into your system that you cannot have. The only reason that you do not have what your mind or your spirit said that you should or could have is because you put an objection to it. Oh, Mr. Murphy, what do you mean? I didn't object to anything. Oh, yes, you did. The moment that you said that, oh, I want to do this great business. Oh, but it costs too much. Oh, it's too difficult. Oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. Oh. And all those other negative things that goes along with you negating, you shutting off that flow of energy that would produce that which you asked for. And the craziness is that it never fails. Anything that's been put into your spirit that you really followed up on, it materializes in some way, shape, or form. Don't look at me. Look at yourself. Look inside of your own system. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Every time that you put your foot down and decided to do something, it changed. You want your business to change? You change. You want anything else in life to change? You change. You put your attention to it, and it will change. Let that sink into your system for a minute. The moment that I don't care who is on this call, the moment that you put your attention to anything, it will change. And so put your attention to your business. Look at all the different aspects of what it takes to get you to what you want. It's called that next level. Put some changes in order and into one of those things that I guarantee you'll see a change in, guaranteed in 2 years. But sometimes it happens in a week, sometimes it happens in 8 days, but guaranteed within 2 years. No matter what you decide, it's going to change within 2 years. And I don't know why it's like that. It just does. In other words, I guess you can call that a law of the universe, universal law. But what's more important right now is that how do we right now get you to the point where you can feel comfortable about writing about what you already know in your spirit to do? And when I say that, this is for the editors. How do you get to put down on paper that which is in your spirit to share and to make sure that you're comfortable with passing on that information? A lot of times, most of us have a really, what you call writer's block. Well, not today, but we're going to help you with that. I'm hoping that Mr. Murphy, David Murphy, is going to be in a position to push this this video in. It's only a 3-minute video. This is a wonderful little lady who is she's well versed in what she's sharing with us, and this is some of the basics of writing. Okay, can you get it on, David?
Yes, I can.
All right, David, would you please start that video now, please?
Hi there. My name is Sandra Campbell. I am a creative writer, actor, and language instructor, and I want to share with you some tips on how to start and end a news story in a newspaper. First things first, you want to know who your audience is. Is your audience interested in entertainment, sports, or straight news? Once you identify your audience, you want to make sure that you're not writing over their head. What I mean by that? Well, most newspapers are written at an 11th grade level, and most adult readers read at a 9th grade level. So you want to keep that in mind when you're starting your story. So once you have your audience in mind, you want to answer the 5 whys of your story. Who, what, when, where, and why. Once you answer the 5 whys, you start your story chronologically with your lead. What is your lead? Your lead provides the most important information to your readers. This is the key information that you want people to know about. So once you finish your lead, your next few paragraphs should provide background information on your topic. How did it all start? What do you want people to know about the history of your subject? So once you've written the background information, your last paragraph should provide conclusion, if you will, but it should provide the future implications of your subject. What are the trends, okay, of your topic? Once you finish that, you start on your headline. Your headline should basically sum up your paragraph in bold, strong words. And if you've ever read a newspaper, you know that a headline can either break it or make it for you. You know, if you run across a story. A good headline would be, for example, "Man caught streaking during World Series." Now, if you saw that headline in a newspaper, it would make you do a double take. And so you want to do the similar thing with your story. You want it to pick dramatic, bold words to sum up your news story. So once you've done all that, you want to make sure that your sentences in your story are concise, and you want to make sure that you keep them short. And you also want to make sure that you write in an active voice using strong verbs. Now, the passive voice, you don't want to write in the passive voice. The passive voice basically, it makes readers a little uninterested, and they lose attention. An example of the passive voice would be the committee honored the senator with an award. Whereas in the active voice, you would write the sentence, the committee honored the senator with an award. So the difference between the active voice and the passive voice is in the passive voice, the subject is acted upon. Rather, in the active voice, the subject is the doer. And you want to make sure you keep those strong active tense verbs. So if you follow all those tips, you should be well on your way to writing a perfect story. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.
Listen, I am I am almost remiss at what just happened, simply because of the fact that the more I listen to that video, the more I realize that I am helping a number of you get basic information about your task to perform a wonderful or prepare a great article for a great cause. Now, all of you guys that's on this call, every one of you, have great interest in seeing to it that our people, when I say our people, I literally mean our people, just do better. And so I get kind of emotional when I think about what we're doing. I get even more emotional about the way that we're doing it, but even more so is that right now I find that the timing is impeccable. And when I say that, I can't think of no greater need than right now for what we're trying to do. I've been around for almost 70 years. Yeah, I'm getting there. And I have seen a lot of stuff. And no, it is nowhere near as bad as it was. And for those who think it is, I got news for you. It is not. However, it is still very bad. And the only way we're going to get out of it is because of a socio-economic situation. We're not going to get out of it by begging, pleading. It doesn't work like that. I think the word is, and I heard this before over and over and over again, power only concedes to power. And so when you have it like that, understand, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be a powerful voice in order to make some change. And you guys have the goods, you have the equipment, and you also have the knowledge and the desire. So the only thing that's holding us back is what? Fear. Little old F-E-A-R, fear. So I want you to take that fear and just kind of absorb it, because it's a natural thing when you don't understand and you don't know and all of that sort of stuff. But there is another word that has been used a lot, especially where I come from in the military. It's called courage. And that is to overcome an obstacle. No matter how daunting or how deadly it might be, you overcome it. And so in this situation, what you have to overcome is your desire to stay poor, your desire to stay ignorant, and your desire to keep us right where we are. If you want this thing to stay right where they are, it ain't going to change. It's not going to stay, because it's either doing one thing or the other. It's either being more positive or being more negative. Nothing stays the same. I don't care what it is. Even that mountain that you're looking at, it is not the same mountain that it was yesterday. Something changed it, guaranteed. So just know that you guys don't have a daunting task. Your task can be made easy by just a little bit of help. There is a wonderful individual by the name of Dr. Barbara Watis. She could have presented this to you today and pretty much gotten the same effect. I'm using her name because at the end of the day, your projects will go to her and she will review them and she will help you. There's no question about it. That's her goal. She will help you immensely. The deal is that you got to get it to her. Now we've got a bunch of them, but what I need to tell you now is this. For those individuals who are not on this call, for those individuals who have obligated themselves in the past, but who are not so sure about themselves today, I should reassure you that you should be more sure about what you want to do, especially with us, because we're going forward. This is a beautiful thing. And it's not about just the paper. It's about the mission. If it was just a newspaper, believe me, I wouldn't be involved. It's about a mission that's going to change the lives of millions of Americans right here, right now. Within the next 2 years, right here, right now, we're going to start changing lives. We have to. Because if we don't do it, you're going to leave it to somebody else to do it. And when somebody else does it, it's not done your way. And on top of that, it may not be as good as what you want. So I have one more obligation before I get off this call, and that is to allow Mr. David Murphy a couple of minutes. He's desired to do that. And Mr. David Murphy, the call is now yours.
Thank you, sir. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Murphy, first and foremost, I want to thank you, and as always, I truly appreciate you, sir. You have been a great blessing to me, and I don't have to go into all of that. But piggyback on what you was talking about, fear and courage. I'm just going to show you how the universe works. Me and Mr. Murphy did not collaborate on this call, on this meeting. He chose a video and he chose a subject matter. And I just early today, chose a subject matter and a video I want to share with you in a few minutes. And you see how they interrelate, because it's talking about fear and courage. This video is going to take you way back in the day, going to bring up the modern day. It's going to take you all over the places. But one thing I can assure you, it's going to take you somewhere. And so without further ado, I'm going to see if I can get this thing start going on right now. And most of you remember in the newspaper, on the website, I have a bunch of lines. And there was a saying that a pack of lions led by, no, I think I got it mixed up. An army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. And the reason being is a lion can teach the sheep how to be a lion. The only thing the sheep can teach a bunch of lions is how to be a sheep. And so with that being said, I'm going to bring this video up, and then after that, I'll have a little discussion.
The truth of the matter is that most people don't realize that the majority of people suffer their first major heart attack on Monday morning between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. People getting ready to go to jobs that they don't like, jobs that are making them sick. You see, when you're not pursuing your goal, you are literally committing spiritual suicide.
So society gets wrapped around becoming a part of a machine. Society, instead of becoming a bunch of individuals that are expressing themselves in unique ways, and everybody sort of borrows and shares and sells this and you sell that, and we all sort of figure out how we can contribute in a society, we got sidetracked and diverted into these boxes that they call companies and corporations, and we got stuck into these containers that they call cubicles or offices, and we got forced into this system. So our time, instead of it being invested in making pottery or fixing cars or doing something where you have a passion or you have some sort of a connection to, instead of that, you've sold your life.
The world is loading his back with burdens. You're a beast of fucking burden. You're supposed to go to school. You're supposed to pass your tests. You're supposed to do your homework. You're supposed to clean your bedroom. You're supposed, right? All the things you're supposed to do, all the conditioning laid upon you, all the beliefs that you've been given, they're not yours.
No natural behavior. Everybody's wearing clothes they don't want to wear. Everybody's showing up and doing something they don't want to do. They have no connection to. That's the problem with our society.
We're good little boys and girls who have been walking on the line, hand in hand, following step by step all the rules in the book ever since our parents and teachers have been conditioning us to do what we're told.
No society wants you to become wise. It is against the investment of all societies. If people are wise, they cannot be exploited. If they are intelligent, they cannot be subjugated. They cannot be forced in a mechanical life.
That you work 8 to whatever the hours a day plus commuting, and then you're like this. And that's your life. That's your real fucking life.
To step outside the bounds of the mental slavery that you're holding on to that was imposed on you by your parents, the teachers, society, and all of the institutions at large. They want to keep you mediocre, bland, vanilla, a square person in a square hole.
I will not fall into despair. Dedication, hard work.
I said to myself, I will never go back to this again. I will never be treated like that again. I will never go through what I went through again. And that pain pushed me to write a bestseller.
All these supposed tos that the world tells us is all over this dragon. And here comes this dragon, thou shalt. And you're carrying this burden that the world has laid upon you. And it is your responsibility as a maturing individual to slay that dragon. You either bow down and you continue to live your life as a beast of burden, or you slay that fucking dragon. And by slaying that dragon, you become a lion. And that lion's name and his attitude is I will and no.
Dedication, hard work. I'm a one-man army. One-man army. The world can go against me. I'm still come on top. I got God on my side.
What is it that will make it worth it for you?
Find out what it is you want and go after it as if your life depends on it. Why? Because it does. People that have found their passion, people that found the things that they love, people that have found the things that they can pour their lives into, those people live longer.
Express something creative. Be who you are from the depths of your heart, regardless of what anybody else thinks.
And so I'm trying to encourage everybody out there, take advantage of life. Get busy living. Man, for real, the window closes so quickly on life and on opportunities. And so when you got an opportunity, you got to take it. You feel me? When you have an opportunity, you got to take it.
The George Washington Carver would say, do what you can, where you are with what you have, and never be satisfied. She talked about a man who had been captured behind the enemy lines in a war and was sentenced to be killed or another option. The captain said to the guy, listen, he said, tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, you can face the firing squad, or you can go out this door over here. And the guy said, what's out the door? He said, no one knows. All we can tell you is just unknown horrors. He thought, and the next morning he selected the firing squad. After the shots rang out, the captain's secretary said, what's beyond that door? And he said, freedom.
And so I was blessed because I went through so much pain that pain actually pushed me. Oh, you better hear what I'm telling you today. I'm telling you that pain pushed me to prosperity. That pain pushed me to greatness.
Takes guts. You got to dig down deep to gut it out. Keep on going again and again and again.
Nobody believes in you. You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day and say to yourself, it's not over until I win.
Don't quit! Don't quit! Don't quit! Ron Kelly, you don't quit!
Yeah, look at you with your manicured fingers. You're not even struggling. You don't even hate. You don't even hate work and life. Right?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know that was graphic, it was some choice words, but I hope you got the message. The message that I got from this was this. Most of us had lived our lives conforming to what people told us to do, what was good for us. But then God, who created us as individuals, as creators. I don't think no man was put here on earth without creating or for a purpose or a goal in life. And yes, we have to always overcome obstacles, no matter what our situation was, just like they portrayed in this video, from slavery, all the things that people had endured over these centuries of times. And yet, people had overcame them. I mean, atrocities. That's why this video was so important to me, is because it showed the blood, sweat, the tears, the frustration that we all have been through. But at the end of the day, a lot of us stay in that situation because of fear. Mr. Murphy was explaining that. But when you overcome fear, and when you're willing to step out on faith, and you're willing to trust God, on the other side of that door, as they said in this movie, it could be just freedom there. Not just for you or me, but for a multitude of people. When I saw that, I saw the National Black Unity News, the editors, all of you who are penning words, and words do not come back void. And if you pen your words correctly, with power, with great thought, with intended purposes of liberating, freeing our people, bringing them a viable product, good, or services that you provide, that you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, how this thing could change their lives, change the lives of their children and their children's children. I say that all the time, and I will continue to say it, because this thing is deeper than our day and our time. And all I'm saying to you is this: if we roll up our sleeves, believe in what we are doing, because all of you, when I met you, you all had individual dreams and purposes. All I'm trying to do is reiterate. Mr. Murphy started off by saying, oftentimes, and I was guilty of that too, fear of success. Soon the doors would open and I would go into it. Things start happening, I ease back. The stage was getting larger. Opportunity was getting larger. Responsibilities was getting larger. And then fear set in. Well, I better go back to my comfort zone. And then you go back to that place where you felt so miserable, just like them guys were sitting in the office, fighting, beating each other up, because they had to go back to the old conformity, a prison, slavery. But then there was times I took that leap of faith and I went forth and I seen things happen. I was taken to places where I never been before. I met all types of people. That's how I met most of you, because I took a leap of faith. I decided not to stay in conformity. I decided to free myself. Not only myself, it wasn't all about me. I want to free my people as well. Because I wasn't the only one going through. All I saw was misery all the way around. I saw my parents, they was in misery. I saw my community, they are in misery. I seen our children, the ones coming up now, they in misery. So who's going to set the captives free? But when I gave it some thought, we all of us possess so much great powers. Mr. Murphy said power only concedes the power. We all are powerful people on this call. We just need to step out on faith. We need to roll up our sleeves. And remember, you're not fighting by yourself. We are fighting this together. And I'm taking a step further. I don't see how we can lose. They say when God is on your side, you ain't gonna never lose. But all I'm saying to this, we got a mission. We have to accomplish that mission. You editors, you need to pen your words, pen it with passion. And you get it to Dr. Watis and let her spruce it up even more. And then let's send it out there to the masses of our people who's waiting on us, who's in bondage right now. Mr. Murphy said it earlier today. You see what time it is? It's been that time. Ever since that video was showing, ever since the beginning of slavery, all the way up, even before that. People are hurting badly, and they're looking for a way out. And here we are blessed with solutions, all types of solutions from every angle. And all we have to do is take that collective energy, and like Mr. Murphy said, that synergy that we have collected. It's a powerful, powerful force. And that synergy, when you got that type of energy and when you bring it into synergy, that's power. And power recognizes power. It concedes to it. So with that being said, Mr. Murphy, I'll bring it back to you if you want to close it down, sir. I will do that, and I'll just get you back on here, and there you go, sir.
Absolutely. Listen, we're gonna shut this baby down, and the reason that we're going to do that is because we want you guys not to be on these calls and spend all your life on these calls. We want you out here doing what you do, the way you've been doing what you do, and to elevate what you've been doing. David just made a valid point about you and your gifts, your talents. It has been said that all of us have at least one talent. And my recollection of all the people that I've ever met, there was always something that they could do and do relatively well. Not necessarily the best in the world, but just do that and do that well, or be that and be that well. And so in this business that we're in, this newspaper business, that's one asset for you in reference to what you do from your passion. We want your passion to be exposed by this newspaper so that other folks can realize that you have this passion and then maybe do something to assist you in the making so that other folks can get that same information, that same knowledge, or whatever it might be that that same service or product that you're selling. And that's what this is all about. The only way this thing is ever going to work is that you be you. You do you and do you well. And the talent that you have, let it shine. Let it shine as bright as all get up because it's worthy. Some of you have more than one talent. Yeah, we know that you are multi-talented people. Yes, most of you are. That's one of the reasons why you're on this call. But what's more important is that you as an individual, let your life be reflected in our society so that you can have a footprint left behind and a legacy left behind to your life and from what you've done, what you contributed to society. And let me share this with you. There is nothing that I have ever received in my life is to help another human being with their personal life. I ain't talking about money. That's a tool. You give them some information that they can use and they keep it forever. That old cliche, you've heard it over 1,000 times. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But you teach a man to fish and you feed him for life. And that's information. It's the how. It's not the why. The why is always going to be there. It's the how and the who. The person and how do they get it accomplished. And so we're here to just assist you. I don't mean no harm, and I'm not trying to make this so big thing, but that's the whole purpose of this. We want to assist you in every facet of what you're trying to do. Now, we don't want to get into your business, but if we can help you with your business, that's the goal, is to help you with your business. And then the flip side of that is to help other folks elevate their lifestyle, elevate their presence in their own mind. Because a lot of people are already depressed to the point where tomorrow doesn't look good for them. It just doesn't. And so I want all you guys to know that this is a beautiful thing that you guys have helped create. And at the end of it all, at the very end of it all of you are blessed beyond measure, more than you know. The only problem that you have is that you haven't tapped into it. Every one of you are awesome creatures with endless abilities. And the one that you don't have, you can acquire through other folks and get the same benefit. Now you have to do it all. You just experience it all. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know I get real serious on these calls and I want to lighten it up, but I cannot help it. But normally I want to share it before I get off. Normally around this time, and it's almost 7 o'clock. This morning, 12 hours ago, I had another meeting at another organization. And this meeting was nothing more than a group of philanthropic individuals that just does nothing but give their time, energy, and efforts to their community. That's what they do. And I'm so proud to be a part of them that it lightens my heart to be associated with them. Now, I'm going to give you an association factor that maybe most of you can relate to. Some of you went to great high schools or great colleges, and you say, yeah, I went to Yale, I went to Harvard, or I went to, by association, it makes folks feel good. Oh, yeah, a few years ago, my football team won the national championship. If you're a Ravens fan and you're related to them in any way, shape, or form, just by the mention of their name, it makes you feel good. If you own something, you know, a Gucci bag or iPhone, you know, just because you and the name associated with it makes you feel just a little bit better than if you're in the brand names, that's fine. But if it makes you feel better, amen. That's what this is all about. What we're trying to do right now is to change the culture. To change the culture. Now we got a bunch of individuals that can assist us with that, and they're already working. But to change our culture, if you look at the way our children perceive themselves, if you look at the schools in which they go to and the neighborhoods in which we live, all of that is a combined effort to keep us enslaved. Take my word for it. If you live in a certain neighborhood, you can only go to a certain school and you only get a certain amount of education about a certain amount of different things. You go to another environment, if your economic situation gets really high, so will your educational situation get really high when it comes down to what's being taught in those local institutions of learning. So if we can start changing the minds of little Susie, who has little Johnny at the age of 13. And so by the time that little Johnny is 17, he doesn't have 4 kids and unwed and don't have any money and can't find a job and going in and out of jail. We need to change that. That little Johnny, most of the times, is a good guy. And when I say a good guy, I don't mean he's the best guy on the planet. I mean, inherently, he is a good human being. Little Susie's a good little girl, but by the time that they're 20, they've been destroyed. And most of it because of their environment, their conditioning, and the way they think. And if we don't help get them out of that mindset, if we don't help them do something different, then who's it on? You are responsible for what you know. You are. And if you don't share it, you're robbing not only the person that not getting it, you're robbing yourself of sharing it. And that sounds kind of crazy, but that's what's been happening to far too many of us over a long period of time. One of the reasons why we have so much negativism in our society is because there is this thing called information, and it has been withheld from us, and it's still trying to be withheld from us. I don't know how long it's been since the beginning of time. I'm talking about people of color. And if we do not take it upon ourselves to change our own plight, then we are guilty. Now, I know y'all looking at me saying, boy, this boy's preaching about what? Yeah, I'm preaching about this because you can change it. You can do something different. You can make a change in one person's life. And there are so many stories where one person did one little thing and it changed everything. All the way down from people committing suicide, to robbing people, lying, cheating, and stealing. There's a whole lot of things that we can avoid by just having a better outlook of ourselves. But when old Johnny hates himself, guess what he feels for you? So just know that that's where we are right now. Just know that we're going to try to change lives. But more importantly, we want to change not just the life of an individual, we want to change their social and their economic situation. We want to change the way they feel about themselves. We want to just make a change. And one little spark can cause a forest fire. That's what we want. We want a raging fire of information being flooded to our kids and our young ones so that in the future we will not have the kind of problems we have in the past. So, ladies and gentlemen, ordinarily I'll be asking, are all minds clear? Do you have any questions, all of that sort of stuff? And I am not the moderator, so I don't see all the questions and all of that sort of stuff. But at the same time, please understand this one thing and one thing only, that we are here to help. And when I say we, I'm talking about me, Walter Eugene Dempsey Murphy is here to help you get to where you need to be as far as where you want to go in your business. That's all this is about. We just have a vehicle. And I bought into it because I believe in it. And when I say I believe in it, I'm talking about my core believes in it. Even when I try to step away or not to try to do certain aspects of this business that will allow it to even grow, I wind up doing it simply because it's in my spirit now. And I don't know why that is. In other words, a lot of people don't know why you love what you love. So I'm committed to this, not because of David, not because of Bill, not because of Aaron or Dr. Watis or my wife or my sons or anything. I'm committed because of the vision. And I really am. I am committed to the fact that we need to make a change in our community. And I'm going to put my time, energy, effort, and resources to make sure that at least attempt to make a change. I believe it's going to be a lot of people 2 years from now very appreciative of what you've done to change their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, do your due. Go out there and just let the world know that we exist. Be a part of it, benefit from it, and get a lot of other folks to benefit from it also. And with that, I'm going to say good night.
Good night.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, in about 10 to 15 minutes, this will be recorded. And normally what I do for those who was unable to make it onto the call, I will send this link out to them, and so they can catch up. And I will be building up the website where these meetings will be archived. So if you miss anything, you can always go back and catch up. And for new people to come on, they can always go back to catch up where we are. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say good night to you all, and I love you and I appreciate you. And let's get this thing done because people's lives are at stake. Matter of fact, our lives are at stake. And so with that being said, it's an honor, it's a privilege to be used and to be a servant. And I hope you feel the same way too, because when you give, it shall be given unto you in many folds, in many ways. And with that being said, stay strong, bring out that lion in you. The battle is raging. God is calling his soldiers. It's time for us to stand up, be accounted for. Fear not. And because God got your back. And guess what else? So do we. God bless you. Thank you. Good night.